two of the most powerful CEOs in the world just handed over their keys and said, deuce. They are stepping down at Apple and Netflix. And if you are investing in the stock market right now, you're gonna wanna pay attention, because what happens next could either cost you or make you a lot of money. So here's what every investor needs to know. Hey guys, it's Aman
and Christina
from Our Rich Journey.
If you've been following the news in the past week, you know that something very significant has happened in the world of investing. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, one of the most valuable companies on the planet, just announced that he is stepping down. And in the same breath, Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, announced that he is leaving the company's board of directors entirely. Two iconic companies, two major leadership departures happening in the same week.
And look, for a lot of people, these may just be headlines, but if you are an investor of any type, you have to be paying attention. If you have a 401k, a Roth IRA, if you are investing in index funds, you more than likely have a great deal of your wealth in Apple or Netflix. And so when leadership changes, it's going to impact your money.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How leadership changes impact stock prices, what you should be thinking about if you own individual stocks, and what all of this means from a FIRE perspective. So let's get into it.
So let's quickly set the stage, because the details in this particular situation actually matter. With Apple, Tim Cook announced that he will officially step down as CEO on September 1st of this year. He's not leaving the company entirely. He's becoming executive chairman of the board. And his replacement is John Turnos. Now, he has been with Apple for 25 years. If you haven't heard of him, he's the person behind the iPad, AirPods, and most recently, the MacBook Neo. He is the hardware guru.
So here's some context that makes this significant. When Tim Cook took over as Apple's CEO in 2011, Apple's market cap was around $350 billion.
$350 billion may sound like a lot of money, but when you talk about the value of Apple today at $4 trillion, $350 billion is a drop in the bucket. Tim Cook has taken Apple to astronomical levels and has contributed to a great deal of wealth in the stock market. His innovation, his ingenuity. And so for someone to come along after him, they have some really big shoes to fill. I mean, Tim Cook oversaw the Apple Watch, AirPods, Apple Pay, Apple Silicon chips. He turned services into a massive revenue engine.
Now, Netflix's situation actually can be a little bit misleading, because Reed Hastings actually stepped down as CEO from Netflix in 2023. Now, since then, the company's been run by co-CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters. But what just happened in this past week is that Reed Hastings announced that he is not going to be seeking re-election to Netflix's board when his term expires in June. So for Reed Hastings' situation, he is actually completing a long transition period that has been in place with Netflix, and now he's completely planning on stepping away to focus on philanthropy. Now, here is what is so interesting given that information. Despite him not being a CEO and just on the board, even him announcing that he's stepping away from the board, Netflix's stock dropped 10% after the announcement. 10 whole percent. So this reaction tells you a lot about how markets think about founders and leadership, and that's what we want to get into right now. So why does it matter who's running a company when it comes to your investments? Well, the answer is that it matters enormously, and here's why. Now, before we go any further, for those of you that are interested in learning more about investing in the stock market, how you should design a stock portfolio to help you reach financial independence, you have to check out our stock market investing course. It has more than 4 hours of video content and resources to help you design a stock portfolio uniquely fit for your goal, your time horizon, all of your specific needs in your situation. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to ourrichjourney.com, and we will also leave a link in the description below. Okay, so first of all, when you buy a share or stock of a company, you're not just buying a piece of the business. You are also buying the vision, a strategy, a set of decisions that a specific group of people are making on your behalf with your money. And the CEO is the single most influential person in shaping all of this. So think about it in the context of Apple when Steve Jobs passed away in 2011. The market was generally uncertain as to whether Apple would survive. They didn't know if Apple would continue to be innovative. And then, of course, Tim Cook spent the next 15 years proving everyone wrong. People really had to bet on Tim Cook.
I mean, it's a really important point to make. If you have your hard earned dollars, when you put that money into the stock market and you invest in an individual stock, you are literally handing that money over to the CEO and saying, make me more money. And if they are the wrong person to be stewards of your money, then you could be making a poor financial decision.
So let's talk about how markets react to CEO transitions, and they react in a couple of ways. The first way is general uncertainty. So when a long-term, highly successful CEO leaves, even if it's a planned departure, a lot of times the market can act with uncertainty, and there can be some volatility related to that specific company.
I mean, you saw this with Netflix, even when he said he was just leaving the board. A 10% drop, that says that the market feels like Netflix feels really uncertain right now. And with Hastings out, where's it gonna go next?
The second reaction is reevaluation. So, a lot of times when company CEOs leave, there is an evaluation of the company that happens again. They're trying to determine what the company is worth and what direction it is going to be heading under new leadership.
New leadership means, wait a minute, let's have a second look now. Because when the other person was in place, you felt a steady hand. Now you have to reassess based off of this new person's perceived tactics.
Now, remember, in Apple's case, they're choosing a hardware engineer to succeed Tim Cook. So they're not choosing a services executive or an AI specialist, and that tells the market something about Apple's strategic priorities going forward. So one analyst put it really bluntly and basically said that this signals that Apple is doubling down on hardware at exactly the moment when the AI race is defining the future of technology.
Now, to me, that analyst sounds like everyone else that is involved in AI right now. They want Apple to jump on the AI bandwagon, but Apple's strategy may be a little different. They're going with seniority, experience, somebody that's been around the company for a long time. Only time will tell who is right.
Okay, now let's talk about the third reaction to the CEO transitions. And sometimes this is not talked about a lot, but sometimes the reaction is relief.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad for this guy to be gone. We can finally make some money. He was holding us back. Or we have so much potential now. The transition is unstoppable. All of these feelings can come out as relief and the market can respond accordingly. You can have companies that have had so much potential, but the CEO has been the drag. And so when they leave, oh, the relief.
So the point is that during these leadership transitions, they're rarely ever neutral for the performance of the company's stock. And it's up to the investor to do an assessment of the company during these points of transition.
So if you do own individual stocks, whether it's Apple or Netflix or something else, what should you actually be thinking about when there is a leadership change?
First, is this a planned orderly succession or is this a surprise? Now, a planned transition with a clear successor who has been groomed internally is very different from a sudden, unexpected departure. So the Apple situation is the former. Turnus has been with the company for 25 years. He knows the culture, he knows the products, he knows the people, and that continuity matters. Now, a surprise departure, on the other hand, especially one that comes with no named successor, can be a really big red flag. Second, what does the new leader's background signal about the company's direction moving forward? Now, this is a really great question for Apple because, again, their new CEO is a hardware engineer specialist. So he has built the physical products for Apple, but he is not primarily known as an AI visionary or as a services strategist. So, third, you want to think about how dependent is the company's success on one specific person. And this is what investors call key person risk. Some companies' success is so tightly tied to the CEO that a CEO transitioning or leaving from the company can have a huge impact on the company, and the company can genuinely struggle without that CEO.
An easy example of this is Tesla and Elon Musk. Think about how Tesla stock is impacted every time Elon Musk says something controversial. He is certainly the face of Tesla, and the success of Tesla depends tremendously on him.
Fourth, think about whether the company has strong systems, culture, and fundamentals that are bigger than just one leader.
Look at Apple under Tim Cook. It's a company that has built an incredible infrastructure that is thriving. I'm sure after he is gone, that infrastructure will be in place and continue to thrive. And Reed Hastings is another example of that. He was on the board for the past 2 years, and the company was making profits and beating expectations quarter after quarter. And so companies that have genuinely strong foundations and systems in place tend to be more resilient.
Okay, so let's bring this all home, especially for people that are pursuing financial independence that want to retire early. What does this mean to you as an investor? Well, of course, if you're investing in individual stocks, you are going to see leadership churn. You're going to see leaderships leave, some new leadership come into place, and it is going to impact those individual stocks. Now, as someone who is pursuing FIRE, you want to think about your risk tolerance. When you are investing in individual stocks, there is a lot of volatility in those stocks, and the performance may not be that great a long term. And like we mentioned, when you are investing in individual stocks, you're not just investing in a small piece of that business, you're also investing in the CEO's vision, what they are creating for that business. And sometimes that is also tied to their own personality. There's a lot of risk in that. We always say if you're pursuing financial independence, you have to think long term and you have to brace your portfolio for growth and for risk. So the general rule of thumb is that you really don't want to invest more than 10% of your total portfolio into individual stocks. You don't want to put all of your eggs into one basket of individual stocks, as the saying goes. Instead, what we do and what helped us reach financial independence and retire early is that the majority of our portfolio is invested in index funds that track the broader stock market or sector ETFs. This has allowed our portfolio to grow over time and has allowed us to reach financial independence and to retire early.
And I might add, with a lot less stress than if we were investing in individual stocks and worried about who the next CEO was. When you are investing in index funds and ETFs, you get that diversity and security, and it just helps you sleep well at night. And so after you achieve financial independence, maintaining that index fund ETF strategy also helps you stay in financial independence.
So if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and
Join the journey.